Hey YouTube, got another knife review. This is a small folding knife. This is the Expanse knife. It's produced by Leatherman, right? Same company that makes your Leatherman multi-tools. Now this knife I found very interesting because the blade steel is 154 cm. All right, and I picked this knife up for about $32 shipped from Amazon. And I've actually never seen a knife that uses 154 cm steel for such a low price. So I had to check it out, and because it's made by Leatherman, and I have quite a few of their tools. All right, so let's take a look at that 154 cm blade. You can see it's almost it's like a perfectly symmetrical spear point. All right, it's a drop point spear point. Very interesting. This model was only available in the combo edge, alright, so that's why I got it. Alright, and I believe it's a flat grind, although it could be an extremely super shallow hollow grind. Alright, but you know, it's almost impossible to tell. The blade length was listed as 3 inches. The longest measurement I could get, measuring from right down there, was 2 3/4 inches. All right. Now let's see how that cuts. Now sometimes serrations will cut just as well as a plain edge. Why is that? Well, one, it's because the serrations are so dang sharp, and two, it just depends the shape, you know, how they grind the serrations. But you know, sometimes, you know, the serrations, it just won't matter that it's serrated. It'll go through just as if it was a super sharp plain edge. All right, so very high initial sharpness, and the serrations, they didn't get caught up at all. They just went right through like a plain edge would. Alright, now as for the rest of this knife, it is a liner lock mechanism. You see that there. The handle, this part is stainless steel. This part is FRN. Two-tone handle. Looks pretty nice. Normally two-tones look bad, but this actually looks nice. And the clip side, I think, looks even nicer with the two-tone. Alright, and you see the pocket clip. You know, it comes right side tip down carry only, but strange thing about this knife, it actually has a built-in swing gate carabiner. There's the gate right there. It's a wire gate carabiner. Pretty useful. The carabiner would be very useful in certain activities: skydiving, mountain climbing, on boats, rappelling, even for paratroopers, maybe just in activities where you're not necessarily going to have your knife clipped inside your pocket. Okay, now I've never gone mountain climbing, but I do know if I was hanging from a rope, I'd want this on a beaner, you know, on my chest rig. I wouldn't want to go into my pocket. So that's, I think that's one use of the beaner, and it is solid. To put it back, you just push it down a little bit, and then it folds back up. Alright, in a quick size comparison, you know, I can't resist comparing it to another Leatherman. This is my Leatherman Wave, right? And hold on. It's pretty much the same length as my Leatherman Wave, maybe a tiny bit shorter, but that's the size comparison with the Leatherman Wave. It is a pretty small knife. Hold on, my Benchmade H&K. This is the Ally knife. All right, and you can see it's around the size of this Ally knife. You know, the Ally knife is it's like a little bit longer, right? But, and the Ally knife, I've reviewed this, it's a small knife in itself, okay? So yeah, it's even smaller than the Ally knife. Let's here, very well-known knife, Sage 2, the titanium Sage. All right, you see that the Sage is noticeably wider and longer than the Expanse. All right, so that should give you a good idea of the size of the knife. It's meant to just be super light and handy. You know, kind of like you could carry it in an office or someplace where you're not able to carry anything bigger. Pretty nice. Now there are two ways to open this knife. The first is that right side thumb stud right there, and there's a cutout right there to get at it. All right, so that's, you know, the slow and sure method of opening it, and it is a small knife, so you know it ain't going to be as easy to open as a big knife. Now the second way to open it is this right here. This is what Leatherman calls their blade launcher. And what that is, it's basically an index flipper, but the lever for the flipper is like, you know, it's as minimal as it can get. And it is harder to use than a flipper. Basically, you know, you use it just like a flipper, but you have to flick your wrist. All right, and let's see if I can do it here. There you go. You know, it is a little inconvenient because, you know, if your hand gets sweaty, it's a small knife and then you have to flick it. But it doesn't matter because you never have to use that. I mean, it has a thumb stud. All right, so the blade launcher, you know, you never have to use it if you don't want to. All right, now the Leatherman Expanse, overall, do I like it? Yeah, I like it. I mean, this one doesn't have any blade play. The lock is secure. I think the two-tone handle is attractive. It has the little trick carabiner that's pretty cool. The total weight on this is only 3 ounces, so it is super lightweight. I definitely like the blade, and it's exceptional to get the 154 cm steel on a knife that's like around $30. Definitely feel like I got a good deal. The serrations are done correctly. You saw that they cut just like a plain edge does. It's a beautiful grind on that blade. So overall, you know, I feel this is quite a bargain for around 30 bucks. Definitely pretty happy with it. Now you got to be careful because there's literally 10 different models of the Leatherman Expanse. I counted. There's 10 different ones. There's a much cheaper one that uses 420HC steel, but I figured, what's the point of that one when this one's only around 30 bucks anyway, so just get the better one, you know. They also have a smaller version, but this is already pretty small, so, you know, I like this. I think it's the best version. You know, they have some that have a little screwdriver and stuff, but nah, I just wanted the knife. You know, I think that was one mistake that Leatherman made, making so many different versions of the knife. You can kind of tell that Leatherman is more used to making multi-tools, so, you know, you can kind of tell they weren't that experienced in the knife market. But this is the best of the bunch and the best deal, in my opinion. And, you know, I hope they continue to make more knives. I mean, this is a nice little blade. Alright, YouTube, so there you have it. Review of the Leatherman Expanse. I'm not sure how long, you know, that price is going to last on Amazon, alright? So if you want one, check it out. Stay tuned for many more reviews. I am out of here.